Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thanks very much for being here. Don't forget to hit the little subscribe button and leave your comments and likes if you like this video as well. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the amazing rugby union game between the Australian Wallabies and the South African Springboks, played in Adelaide this weekend, and it was another game in week 3 of the Rugby Championship series. And what a series it's turning out to be. Who would have thought after 3 weeks we'd see Argentina at the top of the Rugby Championship ladder, and prospectively the two toughest teams, New Zealand and South Africa, at the bottom of the ladder. Really unbelievable stuff. But let's get into this game because there's lots to unpackage. I always felt that the first few minutes of this game were going to be critical, and where Steph du Toit spilled the ball in the first minute or so and allowed Australia through Fraser McReight to get a try, the first of his 2 tries during the match, it really allowed the Australians to get some good momentum on. And a lot of the coaches in this year's championship have been talking about getting off to a good start, putting their dominance on the other team and getting their players some real motivation to go into that first 20 minutes. And looking back on the game now, I think those first 20 minutes in this match were so critical for Australia because they'd come off that hiding against Argentina. They were in front of their home crowd at the Adelaide Oval, who turned out on a splendid afternoon, and it's good to see rugby being played in the afternoon again. I'm one of the old school, and I love to see rugby played in the afternoon and not necessarily at night. And it was great to see the Adelaide Oval crowd there in full attendance. So Australia got off to a great start, and I think that put into their mindset and also gave them the motivation to get on and get after this game, and that's exactly what they did. The Springboks haven't won in Australia in 9 matches, and you could tell a little bit in the beginning of the match that that was perhaps playing on their mind, because once again Australia had already started off very, very well. And there were some outstanding performances on the Australian side this weekend, and I think Dave Rennie's going to be very, very happy with his charges. Let's have a look at some of the standouts in this game for Australia. Marika Koroibete, the amazing winger for Australia, has been playing some fantastic rugby for the last number of years, and without a doubt it was perhaps his try-saving tackle against Mapimpi that made the difference in this game, because if South Africa had scored at that stage, who would have known? South Africa could have really got back into this match. So one of the most outstanding defensive plays you will see on a rugby union field was Koraibete's tackle on Mapimpi, and I think that with the motivation that gave his teammates, Australia were really, really up for this game. So outstanding performance there. It's been since 2013 since South Africa had won a game in Australia, and throughout the match it tended to show. I think there was a bit of confusion on what's going on. Pollard didn't bring his kicking boots to this match. I think he got his 3rd attempt over, which was his first one. And points on the board, keeping pressure on the scoreboard is something you have to do at this level to keep your team in the game and to keep the team going forward. And talking about going forward, I think Matt Phillip had an outstanding game for the Australians, as did the rest of the Australian forward pack. It was only at the line-out time where I felt that, well, what they lost 6 or 7 line-outs to the South Africans, and that's an area of the game where Dave Rennie's going to really need to focus on for the Wallabies. Their line-out ball was just horrendous. But even despite that, they were able to get up and win this match. Couple of things that went on. Faf de Klerk got a yellow card, which was just before half-time. That was really a pivotal moment as well. Some could say he was unlucky. Some could say that, he was probably being a little bit too aggressive in that play. He just caught Nick White going for the ball, trying to steal the ball or hit the ball away, got him in the face, and the referee really didn't have much other choice than to send Faf de Klerk off for 10 minutes in the sin bin. And then on the other side of the half-time break, the Australians came out and continued to put pressure on the South Africans. In fact, they built a lead of 25 points to 3, and South Africa didn't look like they were going to get back into the match. But then 2 late tries from Kwagga Smith enabled them to put a little bit of respect into the scoreboard. but it really was an Australian dominant display in this match, and I think there's been well, it's been a long time coming for a start, and some of the questions whether Michael Hooper's absence has made such a significant difference to this team. I think it definitely did when they were in Argentina, but now they're at home, they seem to be a different team. But we have the situation again now, just like we did when the All Blacks beat the Springboks at Ellis Park. Was this a one-off from the Australian Wallabies? Are they going to be able to back it up again next week in Sydney when they play the Springboks again? So let's have a look at the Rugby Championship table as it stands today after week 3 of the championships. We have Argentina as the surprise leaders perhaps, followed by Australia, then New Zealand, and then South Africa. So as I said, South Africa and New Zealand at the bottom of the Rugby Championship ladder. Who would have thought that at the beginning of this competition? But this is one of the great things that's going on in World Rugby right now. We're seeing a lot of teams unexpectedly having these wins on a consistent basis. And I've been saying in the last few videos that the World Cup next year is going to be perhaps the most exciting World Cup we've seen to date, when a lot of teams have a chance to get in there and win the World Cup. So yeah, Pollard had an off day with his kicking. Faf de Klerk got sent off. Australia really dominated. Lalesio had kicked 10 points for the Australians from their fly half position. He had a good match as well, redeeming himself a bit for his performance against Argentina over there. But I think Australia really need to back up this performance again next weekend against the Springboks in Sydney to demonstrate that they are back on track. But I think Dave Rennie's really achieved a couple of things here with the Australians. They were pretty dominant and played well in the forwards, but their pace out wide was well good, and their defence was really, really strong as well. So an all-round really good performance from the Wallabies. Thumbs up for them. And the Springboks, well, my friends over there in South Africa, I guess you're going to be either talking about the referee or concerned about some of the selections in the team. But yeah, we're seeing a really tough rugby championship this year, not only for players but also for the coaches. So we head into next weekend. The All Blacks play Argentina again. This match is going to be played in Hamilton in New Zealand, and the other matches between the Australian Wallabies again up against the South African Springboks being played in Sydney. So all is to play for in the Rugby Championship this weekend. Drop me your comments. Tell me what you think of the performances so far by all of the teams. Were anybody out there expecting Argentina to be at top of the Rugby Championship ladder after 3 weeks of this competition? And what do you think of the Wallabies versus the Springboks? Who got it right? Who got it wrong? And did Australia's defence win them that match, or were they too good for the Springboks in getting through that articulate defence that the Springboks bring to every game? I'd like to hear your comments. Okay, well that's it for this particular video. I thank you all again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back soon with another video about the Rugby Championship and a preview to next weekend's match. Until then, stay well and have a great week ahead.